It's the weight of forgiveness that wasn't allowed to pass through. And for me, that's mainly because I've misunderstood something so incredibly profound about forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't something hard we have the option to do or not do. Forgiveness is something hard won that we have the opportunity to participate in. Our part in forgiveness isn't one of desperation, where we have to muscle through with gritted teeth and clenched fists. It isn't fighting through the irritation and wrestling down the indignation. It isn't sobbing through the resistance of all our justifications to stay angry and hurt and horrified by all they did. This is what I once thought. But when I wrongly think forgiveness rises and falls on all my efforts, mustered up grit, conjured maturity, bossed around resistance, and gentle feelings that seem real one moment and fake the next, I'll never be able to authentically give the kind of forgiveness Jesus has given me. My ability to forgive others rises and falls instead on this, leaning into what Jesus has already done, which allows His grace for me to flow freely through me. Ephesians 4:7. Forgiveness isn't an act of my determination. Forgiveness is only made possible by my cooperation. Cooperation is what I've been missing. God knew we couldn't do it on our own. He knew that full well, right from the very moment the crunch of the forbidden fruit became sin's first sounds, and then came the hiss of the enemy's accusations and the pounding footsteps of a terrified man and woman. Adam and Eve ran to the darkness as blame and shame reverberated with echoes we still hear coming out of our mouths today. Then they hid. As soon as sin was their choice, the cover of darkness became their preference. And please be patient as I type these next words. It's not just when I do something wrong that I find myself running and hiding in the darkness. It's also when I do the very opposite of what I should in reaction to someone who sins against me, wrongs me, hurts me, or even just inconveniences me. My first inclination most of the time isn't to bless them or to be patient with them or to be all things Romans 12 and give them a happy meal and a chocolate milkshake. Nope. My first inclination is to do the very thing I'm so critical of them doing. I let my justifications for retaliation draw me in, and I make sure I hurt them the way they hurt me. And when sin is my choice, the cover of darkness is my preference. But make no mistake, it isn't just what covers me. It's also what hovers over me with that maddening heaviness. Human hearts are so very prone to want to cover things up. We all have that place we run to where it is dark rather than risk what may come out in the light. We want freedom but are resistant to simply do what God says to do. God knew all of this, so He made a way not dependent on our strength, a forgiving way, a way to grab onto Jesus' outstretched arms, bloodied from crucifixion and dripping with redemption. He covers and forgives what we've only been able to hide. He forgives what we could never be good enough to make right, and makes a way for us to simply cooperate with His work of forgiveness, for us to receive and for us to give. I believe with all my heart, forgiveness received and given is the very thing that splits this world open with the most stunning revelation of the reality of Jesus, more than almost anything else. But please never confuse redemption with reunion. Reunion or reconciliation requires two people who are willing to do the hard work to come back together. Redemption is just between you and God. God can redeem your life, even if damaged human relationships don't come back together. And you and I can forgive even if the relationship never gets restored. It's so incredibly freeing to forgive and not have to wait on other people who may or may not ever want to or be willing to talk all of this through. Forgiveness isn't always about doing something for a human relationship, but rather about being obedient to what God has instructed us to do. Those who cooperate most fully with forgiveness are those who dance most freely in the beauty of redemption. And what exactly is this beautiful redemption? It is you accepting the exchange God is offering. What you give up. You give up the right to demand that the one who hurt you pay you back or be made to suffer for what they've done. God will handle this, and even if you never see how God handles it, you know He will. What you get the freedom to move on. The scenery for your life should not be the pit of pain that persons dragged you down into. There's so much more to see and discover and experience. Let go of clawing your way through the muddy pit, hoping there's some reward buried there. There's not. Take God's hand, and as the words of forgiveness are released from your lips, it's like scattering seeds of beautiful flowers. The mud of the pit becomes fertile soil with potential, and before long you'll be dancing through all that has blossomed and bloomed around you. For a while, you may still have tears that come and go. That's okay. Freedom from unforgiveness doesn't mean instant healing for all the emotions involved, but it does mean those emotions will turn into eventual compassion rather than bitterness. And you'll see those who cooperate most fully with forgiveness really are those who dance most freely in the beauty of redemption. I'll just let that statement sit right there without requiring anything from you. I certainly don't mean that you should quickly get over all you've been through and move on from here. Deep emotions come to us in a rush but don't leave at the same pace. It takes time. That is exactly what I wish to give you as we move slowly through this message. Before we walk through the steps of forgiveness, we are first going to process our coping mechanisms and the reason we resist forgiveness. And even more importantly, we are going to make the decision that we will survive all of this by taking away the power from the ones who hurt us. Our healing can't rise or fall on their efforts, especially if they can't or won't change. Yes, this will take time, but it can happen. And pressing on towards forgiveness will require other important components as well. It takes understanding. That is the reason I am sharing both the brutal and the beautiful realities of my own deep pain. It takes insight. That is what I'll give you based on my study of God's Word, my own admission of resistance, and my imperfect progress. It takes divine intervention. That is exactly what God will provide you personally and profoundly, not through my words, but His, woven throughout this book. And lastly, it would take openness. That's the invitation. I'm not requiring this from you, but rather offering you a place in this discussion for your own revelation from God to gently and beautifully emerge. And the best part is, we can do this together. Thank you, everyone, for experiencing chapter 1 with me. We are about to go into a deep dive into chapter 1. We're going to sit there for a few days and then we'll be back to start chapter 2. I really appreciate the opportunity to explore this book written by Lysa TerKeurst, Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and put some comments in the comment box about your forgiveness, your journey to forgiveness, and either forgiving yourself or others. And I look forward to going further in this book about how to let go of anger and resentment. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Be blessed. Goodbye.